his face pale with shock, eyes wide as if the wind had been knocked out of him. Millie froze, her smug expression vanishing in an instant. Dad, she stammered, her voice suddenly small. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might collapse, but I kept my eyes locked on my father's face. His gaze bounced from me to Millie and back again. The pieces of a puzzle he'd refused to see finally snapping into place. He stepped further into the room, holding Bradley's phone in one hand. I just heard everything, he said, his voice low and trembling. You are going to frame your mother. You are going to send your sister away based on lies. Millie's eyes filled with tears again, but this time they didn't have the power they once did. I didn't mean it. Granny made me. She said it was just a joke. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked at me. For the first time in what felt like years, really looked at me. I could see the realization flooding in. The countless moments he'd chosen them over me. The things he'd said. The punishments. The bruises on my pride. And sometimes worse. I'm so sorry, Tara, he said. And I almost didn't believe it at first. His voice cracked, and he sank into the nearest chair like the weight of it all had finally crushed him. I've been a fool. Millie rushed toward him, but he held up a hand. Number, sit down. She froze mid-step, tears streaming down her face now, but he didn't waver. Bradley stepped into the room then, quiet but firm. There's more. We have recordings and photos, everything. Dad nodded slowly, like each new word drove another nail into the coffin of his delusions. I want to see it, all of it. We spent the next hour going over everything. I showed him the recordings, the photos of Millie's diary, even the audio from Granny's rants. My father said nothing the entire time, just sat there, staring at the evidence of the betrayal he'd helped carry out. When it was all over, he rubbed his face with both hands. She played me. They both played me. What are you going to do? I asked, barely able to say the words. I'm going to make this right, he said, standing. Starting now. Millie began to cry again, but my dad didn't even look at her. He walked straight to the kitchen phone and dialed. Mom, he said when Granny picked up, don't ever come back here again. There was a pause, and we could all hear her angry, muffled response on the other end of the line. No, he said, his voice steel now. I don't want to hear it. You manipulated my daughter. You nearly destroyed my marriage, and you turned my youngest into someone I don't even recognize. We're done. And with that, he hung up. Millie looked like she'd been slapped. You're choosing them over me? She whispered. I'm choosing what's right, he replied. And if you want to stay in this house, there will be rules. You're grounded until further notice. No phone, no TV, no outings. And you will apologize to your sister. In full, no fake tears. Millie opened her mouth to protest, but then she saw something in his eyes, something final, and thought better of it. She sat down again, defeated. He turned to me then. Tara, I know sorry doesn't begin to cover it. I let you suffer because I couldn't face the truth about my own mother. I failed you, but I promise I will never let that happen again. I nodded, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. For the first time in years, I felt something shift, not just in my family, but in me. The weight of silence, of injustice, had finally lifted. Later that night, my mom came to sit beside me on the porch. She took my hand in hers, gently. You are so brave, she said softly. I wish I'd protected you better. You did your best, I replied. Now it's time for us to finally protect each other. We sat there in silence, watching the stars. For the first time in a long while, they felt like they were shining just for me.